Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my February wrap up, or like the second half of February wrap up. I am going to go over the stats for the entire month, but I'm only including the books that I did not include in that first one. So if you want to see all my review of all the books I read, make sure you go watch that video first. Okay, so let's start with some stats. So I read a total of 24 books this month, and my favorite was Beard Science, which is a book that I read in the second half of February, so it will be included in this video. I read 4,878 pages and listened to 109.25 hours of audiobooks. In total, I read 4 print books, 9 ebooks, and 11 audiobooks. And my top 3 genres were romance, contemporary, and fantasy, which brings the total for the year up to 42 books out of my goal of 225 books. I can't believe that I've read almost 50 books already this year. That's crazy. So the first book that I read is Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a contemporary fiction or a literary fiction, and I listened to it on audiobook. It was my book club pick for the month because contemporary or in literary fiction isn't usually my genre, but I have heard really good things. I had heard really good things about this book, so I was really excited to start it, and I did end up really liking it. I give it 4 stars. There were some things in it that bothered me, like some of the characters really drove me nuts, and I know that is the point, is that they're supposed to be imperfect characters, but like it really bothered me. And it sort of bothered me that the ending had no like real conclusion between the characters. So those are like the things that just like couldn't get me to 5 stars. I also think that I would probably have been more invested in the book if it wasn't about video games. I'm just not a video game person, so I think I would have liked it more if it wasn't about video games, but it was cool to like see some of the like names that I've heard of, and just like the ramping up of the industry. It was really interesting because it starts off in like the 90s, so it was very interesting in that sense, and it was a really good story. It was really well written. Definitely heartbreaking, definitely emotional. I would say it's about a medium-paced book, which is probably my typical pace of books. But yeah, I did really like it. 4 stars. The next book is Grin Bearded, which is the second book in the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reid. I like this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. I did read this one in my week-long reading vlog, so if you want to see like my thoughts as I was reading it, make sure you go check out that. I found the plot for this book to be so like boring, honestly. I didn't think it was original. I just like, not that it needs to be super original, not that romance books need to reinvent the wheel, but like I just felt like I don't know, I didn't really like the plot. I found it really boring, very slow, even though it is probably like a medium-paced book. And I just didn't think the romance and everything was like, especially in comparison to the next book, like I really didn't like this one. I found their connection to be really quick, and I don't know, it was just, I don't know what it was about it. I can't even pinpoint exactly, except for I just didn't like the plot of this one. So 3.5 stars. I liked it, but I didn't really like it. Next, I read Scarlet Angel, which is again a book in my reading vlog. So yeah, I gave this one 4.5 stars. I did really like it. It took me a long time, surprisingly, to read this book for how short it is, but I'm so glad that I got back into this series. It's so fast-paced, it's so interesting, and I feel like this one actually was the slowest pace of the book so far, because I think it's set up a lot for the next book. I can see the next, like the 4th and the 5th book being like me being able to read it really quickly because of the setup from this book. So I really liked the plot, but overall I really liked it, and I'm excited to continue with the series. 4.5 stars. I read Beard Science, which is my favorite book of the month. I gave this one 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Was it the most perfect book written? No, but like I loved the plot. I loved the characters. I loved the romance. I loved the like everything. There was like nothing that I could say that I didn't love about this book. I love Cletus. And you got to see him in the previous two books, so knew that I was really excited to read his book, and I'm so glad that it ended up in such, like, it was such a perfect, it was just so good. I wasn't sure, like, after reading the second book, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue with the series, but after reading that one, I definitely will, and I'm excited to read the rest of the brothers' love stories, because I think that there's one in particular that I'm really excited about. I can't remember his name right now, but it's sort of like a second chance. It sounds like it's going to be like a second chance romance, which I'm really excited about. These books are so funny. They're just a blast. I had a great time listening to this one. 5 stars. Then I read / listened to Charm by Tracy Wolff. This is the 5th book. I'm now officially caught up on in the Crave series. These books are just so much fun. I'm so happy. I did not know what the premise of this book was when I went into it. I thought it was just a continuation of the end of the last book, and in a way it is, but it also it's like also tying up a lot of loose ends in questions I had from, like, I think the second book, so I'm really happy that I didn't think we were ever gonna get this, and I just loved it. I loved that we got it. I will say that it definitely did not need to be this long. It was kind of drawn out, I would say. Like, it's sort of like what a novella type story should have been, but it's like 600 pages, so it definitely did not need to be that long. But overall, I really enjoyed it, just like all of the other books in this series, so I gave it 4.5 stars. Next, I listened to the audiobook for Incense and Sensibility, which is the 3rd book in the Rajas series, which are all retellings of classic books. This one obviously is Sense and Sensibility, but I have not read any of, I will say I have not read like any classics, so I've not read Sense and Sensibility, so I cannot speak to whether it's anything like the original story or not. I definitely liked this one. I didn't like it nearly as much as I liked the second one. I gave it 3.75 stars. The romance was just the thing that, like, I just did not buy that the characters were really in love with each other, because I feel like if they were, then nothing would have stopped them, really. Like, it's not even like, it wasn't even like a miscommunication or anything like that. It was just like, honestly, they were like, no, we can't, but like they could have. The thing that ended up like fixing everything in the end could have been done at the very beginning of the story. So I don't know, I didn't buy the romance really. And that also sort of ties into the plot and the characters and all of that. So that's the reason, but I did think it was a cute story. I just didn't buy fully the romance and the plot and all of that. Next, I read When in Rome by Sarah Adams, and I loved this book. This one I ate up. I will say it really took me a long time to read for such a short book. But that was just because of the week I was having while I was reading it. But I loved it. Like, it's short chapters, so it's super easy to get into and like read really fast if you have time to read. It's Grumpy Sunshine, Small Town, Celebrity. I'm trying to think of what other tropes. There's tons of tropes in this book. And I know that this is actually going to be, I think, part of this series, because Sarah Adams is putting out a book, I think it's in April, about the male main character's sister. She owns a floral shop, and I think that book is coming out soon. So I am really excited to read it. I did not realize this was going to be part of a series, but I'm definitely interested in reading the rest of them, because I really liked the male main character's 3 sisters. So I'm hoping that we do get each of their stories. That would be really nice to tie everything together. And also, I just want to go back into Rome, Kentucky. It was such a wholesome, sweet, small town. I love small town. So anyways, I gave this one 4.5 stars. And I read Not the Marrying Kind by Catherine Nolan. This is I guess I wanted to say it was a rock star romance, but it's really not. It's just a contemporary romance. Honestly, I had not heard anything about this book. I just randomly picked it up and I really liked it. The communication between the characters was amazing. There was there was a third act breakup, which I did not like, and that was the thing that like really brought this book down. But other than that, like I really liked the characters. I liked the plot, but that third act breakup really brought down my enjoyment. And yeah, I don't know, there was something about it that didn't quite pull me in as much as I thought I would, but I like super liked it. I think maybe there was a book that I should have read previously to this, but it doesn't say that it was in a series as on Goodreads, so I don't know. But anyways, I give it 4.25 stars. I did really like it. Then I read Pleasure of a Dark Prince, which is the 9th book in the Immortals After Dark series. I'm slowly but surely making my way through the series with the podcast Fade Mates, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking to hear their commentary afterwards after I finish reading it, because honestly they're a lot more introspective when they're reading than I am, and they point things out that I honestly didn't notice throughout the book. I did really like this one in comparison to I read like at the beginning of the month. I think I liked this one the most. I gave it 4 stars. The romance is the thing that I like. I don't know. It just, I don't know. None of the romances really in these books have really like made me like root for the romance yet. The plot is amazing, and I'm liking like the end of this one is going to bring in like a whole new crazy part of this world coming in the next few books. So I am really excited about that, but like the romance, I didn't really care about that one if I'm being honest. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I did really like it, but the romance was the thing that brought it down for me. The plot and everything were really interesting, really cool. Then I read Before Us by Julianne. This book is so emotional. Julianne like really nails it in the emotional part. I will say when I read the synopsis for this book, I did not think that the wife was going to be in it for as long as she was. So basically the plot of this is that the female main character is a housekeeper for this couple, and when she the wife of this couple has cancer, and they know that she's going to die, and then when the wife dies, the husband marries the female main character to become to give her some life insurance and to give her a place to stay. And yeah, but when I read that synopsis, I figured like it was going to be their love story, so like majority of the book, but you got to see a lot of the wife before she died, so that was really emotional, and it did add to the conflict that you could see warring in the husband, that you could understand a lot more because you got to see that. But I don't understand why they had to get married in the first place, because like he ends up paying off a bunch. This is a bit of a spoiler, but not really, because it's sort of the beginning of the book. He ends up paying off a lot of her debts. I'm like, if you had the money to pay off her debts, why couldn't you just paid for her to go see a doctor once and the medication, rather than marrying her and making this a whole complicated thing? And also, yeah, there was just some things like I didn't like about that. I don't want to spoil anything else, but like there were just some things that really bugged me about their romance. But so I gave it 4 stars. I did really like it. It was very emotional, but just some things that bugged me. And last but not least, I read Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I love Christina Lauren's writing. I probably will enjoy almost anything they write. I gave this one a 3.75 stars. In comparison to a lot of the books that I've read by Christina Lauren, this just was not my favorite. I know this one like is super hyped. I actually don't like the ones that are super hyped by Christina Lauren. Like I didn't love Love in Other Words. Didn't love this one. It is super cute and like really funny, but I didn't buy their romance. I didn't buy the connection they supposedly had with each other all along, and I didn't like the whole conflict of this book. I'm like, yeah, he's a dummy. So I don't know. that's my, without any spoilers, that's as far as I can go into it. But if you want to chat with me, let me know, because the male main character in this book is just a dummy. And so was the female main character, honestly. But it's really funny, it's really cute. It's 3.75 stars. It's a fun beach read. And that is all the books that I read in February. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me in the comments down below what your favorite book of the month was. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.